Love bombing is the nice part of a relationship with a narcissist. It's where they're idealizing you. They are putting you on a pedestal. But if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, as I'm guessing you have if you're here, you know that phase, it doesn't last long. And what follows is just pure misery. There's going to be some intermittent reinforcement sprinkled in here and there, but ultimately it is not good. And it all begins with love bombing. So in this video, we're going to talk about what love bombing is, what it looks like in a relationship, and how you can avoid it in the future. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel we talk about emotional abuse, its connection with spirituality, and we attempt to answer the question, where do we go from here? So today we're talking about love bombing. And love bombing is one of the 3 stages of a relationship that you might have with a narcissist. And those 3 stages are love bombing or idealization, devaluing, and discarding. There's a lot we can say about all these stages, but today we're focused just on the love bombing part. So love bombing is a really tricky technique because it can feel so genuine, especially if you're dealing with a true narcissist. It can feel very genuine. It feels like this person really just wants nothing more than to be with you. It can feel like you've just met your soulmate. And it's also easy to confuse with a normal honeymoon phase or honeymoon period in the beginning of any normal relationship. So that's why I think it's so important to talk about this here, because there are actually differences between what goes on in a normal relationship, which is always best in the beginning. People are always looking at each other through rose-colored glasses in the beginning. But with a narcissist and with love bombing, it always falls apart, because what follows is devaluing and oftentimes discarding. So the term love bombing is one of the terms that is used to describe this phase of a relationship with a narcissist. And the term itself comes from a book about cults. The book is called Cults in Our Midst, and it's by Margaret Singer. And in that book, she describes the process of love bombing as something that cults will do to bring in new recruits. So they make them feel like they belong. They make them feel welcome. They make them feel loved, like they've never been loved before. And it's very much over the top, and it's very similar to what goes on when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. So why do narcissists do this? Why do narcissists love bomb anyway? You know, from what we know about narcissists, they pretty much think they're above everyone. So why would they, in the beginning of a relationship, make you feel like you are on a pedestal, make you feel like you're something special? And in the case of most narcissists, it's because they actually do think you're special. Now, there are some more manipulative people who might actually consciously think, well, I'm going to get this person to love me. I'm going to get this person's attention and affection, and then I'm going to destroy them. But with narcissists, usually it's a little bit different. What happens is they actually do think that you have something special or you are something special. And by being with you, they're special in association. Because if you're special and you think they're special, that validates their false self. That validates the belief that they are truly something special, that they're truly something to be worshipped. And feeling special to anyone feels good, but to a narcissist, it's essential to who they are. They need that to function. But the important part, in my opinion, is not so much to understand why an unreasonable person acts the way they do. It's really to understand how we can protect ourselves from these unreasonable people, from these toxic people, and to spot these behaviors before they become super problematic. So how do you know if you're being love bombed? The truth is there are quite a few signs that you can see in the beginning, and sometimes they're subtle and sometimes they're really bold and in your face. And I talk about this in my video about how to know if you're being manipulated. So I'm not going to repeat all of those signs. I'm just going to link to that video, and I'll just give a very brief overview here. So what we're looking for are those over-the-top compliments, the really quick I love yous and commitments like an engagement or moving in together really fast before you even know each other. These people might be dedicating every single second to you, to where you're questioning if they had a life before you met them. And another big one is pretending to be interested in the things that you're interested in. So if you can identify that somebody is actually pretending or exaggerating their interest in something that you're interested in, that's going to be a red flag that there might be some love bombing going on. So I'm going to link to that video and I suggest you watch it. The first few signs do point to the things that could be going on in the love bombing phase. These are the early signs that something's off in this relationship. But there are two more things that I want to talk about here in this video. Now, the first one I do not mention at all in that video, and I actually think it's really important. And I started thinking about it because of a couple of comments that I got on other videos. And one comment was actually from a self-proclaimed narcissist who said that, when he meets a new girlfriend, when he gets involved with a new person, he lays out the stipulations for the relationship. And there were a couple of things. One of them was if the person gets fat, that he's going to dump them. And then inevitably, if that person does get fat, his words, and he dumps them, then he is complaining that he looks like the bad guy. Now, this actually brings up a really interesting discussion, because when somebody tells you who they are, and in that case, he's outright telling them not only what he expects of them, but in that expectation, he's telling them exactly who he is. And I think a lot of us have been in that position where somebody told us who they were and we didn't believe them. I know I was. So this brings up an interesting discussion. When somebody's telling us exactly who they are, it's really important to believe them because they are almost always right. They know who they are. And in a lot of cases, especially with narcissists, they're not ashamed of it. And the problem is we often think that this person is joking, or we think, oh, well, they're just saying something for shock value. And that's just, it's just probably their personality. And let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's where a lot of us get into trouble. When somebody tells you who they are, it's really important to believe them. And the second point I want to make about the love bombing phase has to do with the soulmate connection or a twin flame connection. And if you're feeling this really early on, I talked about this a little bit in the other video that I mentioned. But if you're feeling this really early on, it's a major red flag because things are going hard and fast, and that's how it's meant to feel. This is what love bombing is supposed to feel like. It's supposed to feel like a soulmate connection or a twin flame connection so that you have no doubt that this person is right for you. But when you slow it down and start paying attention, then you can see that that connection kind of falls apart a little bit. And with that, the point I want to make that I think could actually be helpful is a lot of us could benefit from rethinking that soulmate or twin flame connection as an overly romanticized idea. So I've had discussions with some of you about this connection, about the soulmate connection, about the twin flame connection. And I think that a lot of us are on the same page that it's dangerous. It's a dangerous concept because if you're out there looking for your soulmate, if you're out there looking for your twin flame, you could end up getting caught up in something and staying in something that is not good for you, something that is toxic. I see all the time people on YouTube and in other places, people justifying some really bad stuff like adultery because they think that the person is their twin flame. And if you think about it, you could be going down a path that's completely immoral. And if you're with somebody who's trying to sell you on that concept, there's a good chance that they're a narcissist or another emotionally abusive person. So really be wary. I'm not saying that these things don't exist. I'm not saying that there's no possibility of a soulmate connection or a twin flame connection. But be very wary of somebody who is selling that to you, and be wary of that feeling when it happens. It could be true or it could be a really toxic situation. So pay attention to what's going on. Look for other signs. Okay, so that covers love bombing for today. If you like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. And if you'd like to see more like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time.